I just had to say some things. It's upside down. I recently just finished Again But Better by Riccio, one of the biggest booktubers, if not the biggest, on this platform, and I finished it today after only 2 days of reading it. I clicked read on Goodreads and I went over to check out the reviews, and overall this was getting pretty positive reviews, 3s, 4s, 5s, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's pretty solid. Good for Christine, good for her. I personally enjoyed this book. It wasn't some great American literature novel or anything. It didn't change my life. It didn't blow away my expectations. That's exactly what I signed up for when I read it. It's exactly how she described it. I was scrolling down into some of the comments and some of the reviews, and everyone is allowed to have their own opinions. I'm not saying that they can't. If you want to go check out her Goodreads page for Again But Better, go ahead. You might be able to see what I'm talking about. But in no way should this book ever receive a 1-star. A 1-star book is like trash. Like, this book is not trash. And again, everybody can have their own opinions, but a lot of these reviews a lot of these people that gave her 1 stars were ranting about how it was plagiarism and how she self-inserted herself into this book, or how she had 400k subscribers, and if she didn't, then she wouldn't have been published. And yeah, that's understandable, but you should not be giving her a 1 star because she has 400k subscribers. That's just how this business works and how every business works. If you have built something for yourself, you're more likely to get something in return, an opportunity that you might not have had before. Like, even random YouTubers have written books and they only got published because they had a platform, and these publishing companies are looking at that and seeing, wow, they have followers, this book is going to sell. And while I don't know if this book would have been published if Christine did not have that platform, I don't know. But this book was a good book. It gave you everything it promised. It was entertaining, it was a romance, it was a coming-of-age story about studying abroad. The writing was decent. She pulled together a very decent book, and in my opinion, she does not deserve a 1 star. I'm sorry if you're jealous that you can't get published, but she can, because she's been working her ass off, building something for herself over YouTube over the past 10, 11 years. It's just the way life works, and if you haven't even taken the time to read her book and have given her a 1 star, maybe you should reevaluate, because like I said before, it wasn't some crazy book that changed my life, but it made me smile. I couldn't put it down. It was an entertaining read, and that was its job. It wasn't trying to say anything life-changing. It was just there for your enjoyment. And I understand, again, if this book isn't your cup of tea, and maybe that's why you can argue you gave it a 1 star, but still, in my opinion, this book, at the lowest rating I could see somebody giving it, is a 2 star, because it did its job. It wasn't anything abnormal in the contemporary world. It was decent writing, decent plot. It was fun. I personally gave Again But Better a 4 out of 5 stars. If we didn't live in a Goodreads world, it would probably be more like a 3.75. I did have some issues with it. Some of the lines were a bit cringy for me, and I did have some voice issues. Like, sometimes I was like, oh, this is Shane, this is the character, and then other times I could only hear Christine. And it was a weird shift, because I could see what Christine was trying to do. She was trying to throw in a little nods to herself that her fans would know. Because if you didn't know anything about Christine and went into reading this book, I feel like this book would be a lot more enjoyable towards you, because I feel like with how many nods to herself and her channel and what we as fans know about her, it kind of takes away from the experience a little bit. So that is why I would take a bit off, and I wouldn't give it completely a 4, because sometimes those little comments and sections kind of took me out of the story for a little bit, and then I eventually got back in. I found the cast of characters enjoyable. I thought I didn't guess the story from the beginning. I was actually a little surprised. Going into it. By the end, I kind of figured out where it was going, and it was pretty obvious towards the end, but there were some things that surprised me and stuff that I didn't really see coming, which I enjoy in a book. So overall, yeah, 3.7 stars to 4. If you gave it anything higher, that's your opinion. If you gave it anything lower, that is your opinion too. I would just like everybody to take into consideration the book before you comment and leave notes and let your jealousy take over, because again, she worked hard for this. She spent years on this book, and she maybe didn't have the hardest time finding a publisher, but she worked for 10 years to get to a place where she didn't have to work hard to find a publisher. So think before you speak. If you like this video, go ahead, leave a comment, subscribe, yell at me. That's cool. If you agree, disagree, let me know. If you found a reason that you think is valid for giving this a 1 star, let me know. I'm more than willing to change my mind. Thanks for watching.